Segment one, we'll talk about the NFL coaching search tonight. Michael, we've got a ton of openings around the league. This is very, very strange just because we've got 8 openings right now, which is the most in a number of years, and it could grow to more.
It really could. And with the dominoes that have already fallen, you're talking about, I mean, almost 40 years of coaching experience from two teams in the AFC North is now gone. And if you add in the longest tenured Brown coach for that time, that's almost 45 years of coaching experience in that one division is now gone. It's an insane thing, and especially one of those
Can,
guys already being hired.
can we already imagine the idea that of the 4 coaches in the AFC North, that Zach Taylor was the one that stayed?
How the fuck does he have a job?
I mean, you know, honestly, at this point, dude, it's, Tomlin steps down after 19 years. Harbaugh mutually parts ways after a Super Bowl. Tomlin's got a Super Bowl. The Browns move on from Stefanski. So, and realistically, since Cincinnati typically never fires coaches, remember how long they held on to Marvin Lewis? They should all be looking for new head coaches at this point. You figure Cincinnati had the one team that was the most underperforming all year, and yet their boss gets to stay another year.
I think they're letting the injuries be the scapegoat for the Bengals, which is legit. I mean, Burrow got hurt again. You had an offensive line that was oft injured and a defense that underperformed because it was oft injured. So, he also has, the Bengals been in the Super Bowl 3 times. He's got one of their appearances. It's not something that you can easily write off in a city like Cincinnati, which isn't used to football championship runs.
So let's take a look at them going around the league real quick. Miami parts ways with
Championship runs.
So let's take a look at them going around the league real quick. Miami parts ways with Mike McDaniel, which was a stunner considering 48 hours earlier he was said to be safe. We talked about the 3 in the AFC North between Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. In the AFC South, we saw Brian Callahan was let go early in the year by the Titans. In the AFC West, Pete Carroll is out after a year in Las Vegas. If you go over into the NFC, New York's looking for a new boss after Brian Dable was fired midway through the season. In the NFC North, you don't really have anything there. Everyone's basically safe, although we saw Green Bay say that Matt LaFleur is safe. But stranger things have happened in the NFC South. Atlanta needs a new coach, and in the West, Jonathan Gannon's out with the Cardinals. And considering they've got 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC Final Four right now,
Yeah, and the one shocker to me, besides, of course, the two longest tenured guys, wasn't so much McDaniel. It was Gannon, to be very honest with you. And the reason why that is he took over a team that's been built around, the NFL's version of Brad Williams, and he's terrible. He's got a stud wide receiver who he can't see over the lineman, and they've got a good defense. So him being let go was kind of shocking to me out of all the teams. I mean, you said Callahan's middle of the season. Well, he got a bum rap anyway. That was terrible what Tennessee did to him. Especially now you see what Vrabel did with New England in his first year up there. Uh, you know, Pete Carroll again, scapegoat for a trash roster. Um, we all know how I feel about Kevin Stefanski. He's a few years too late, in our opinion. I think we can both agree on that. Um,
At least they did the smart thing about planning out with Stefanski. Because remember when they did the Hugh Jackson interview, they didn't let him out of the building, much like what the Giants did by hiring, John Harbaugh, uh, earlier today or yesterday. It's making it official at this point. So the Browns let Mike Pettin go, and then they don't let Hugh Jackson leave the building. They shop around. They kind of miss out, and apparently there was a story that came out that, had the Browns held on a couple of more weeks, they could have gotten Dan Quinn during that round of interviews. Um, because he wanted the job, and then they ended up going with Pettin, for that gig. But I don't think Gannon was so much a scapegoat because he really didn't do any favors. The Cardinals were really not all that competitive during his time there. Callahan was thrust into a very bad position. I thought Carroll with the Raiders was never going to work. If you get a chance, go watch Brand's video from about 2 hours ago. He put up his Bram Award. So Gino gets the least impressive player of the year with that situation. It just never worked out. Um, I'm actually most surprised, even though we knew what the situation was, that the Jets are not shopping for a new head coach of all people. Mike McDaniel goes to the playoffs 3 times and has back to back years, but he only had like one losing season out of all of them, and then he gets run out when Tua can't stay healthy, and the Jets are still going to give another year to that crap with the fact that they've got a rookie quarterback coming in.
well, I think the Jets are staying with Aaron Glenn because he's trying to change things. And what you have to think of from the GM and the ownership booth in New York is, quite honestly, the Jets are hot fucking garbage. And it's not just the coaching that's the problem. It is the roster, and it's really they don't have a terrible cap issue, but they didn't put anything around them. Their offensive line was bottom third in the league. Their defensive line after the trade deadline was bottom third in the league. They didn't, for the first time since it became stat, no interceptions. Uh, you had, unfortunately, Justin Fields. You teamed him up with his favorite receiver from college, which worked in a couple of places. Didn't work in New York. Why didn't it work in New York? He was running for his life. Brees Hall had a down year. I mean, it was a confluence of things. You can't blame Aaron Glenn, who took a mostly brand new or mostly held over roster to try and turn it all around in one season, especially as a first time head coach. This is not, for lack of a better term, this is not Mike Vrabel going into New England after 7 or 8 years of experience and and good fortune in Tennessee and turning New England into a division winner, unseating your Bills, and absolutely annihilating Harbaugh in round one. Aaron Glenn was not put in that situation.
I respectfully kind of disagree because if we're actually going to take that equation, Ben Johnson's going to be a front runner for coach of the year in Chicago because he had a bad situation year one and then turn the Bears into the number 2 seed in the conference. And if they get through, who's to say that Seattle and San Francisco don't beat each other up that bad this weekend? By the time this show's going to go live, that game's going to be over. We're recording this on Friday night. Um, and Chicago's got a shot of getting to their first Super Bowl in a number of years, which is going to make friend of show Alex Ruiz very happy. I'm surprised him and I are butting heads because two of our teams are playing each other this weekend. But you, I mean, you look at the situation with Johnson. Uh, the idea that Dan Campbell's going to be safe in Detroit. Matt LaFleur, we talked about, he's on the fence. How New
Well,
Orleans, I think New Orleans kind of did the smart thing by not rolling over another coach again so suddenly there. But the Jets got to change the culture, and I understand it comes from the top down with Woody Johnson, um, but you got to be able to make do with something that's there, and he just couldn't.
well, let me go back to Ben Johnson for a second, just because if you're going to say he should be up for coach of the year, I'm with you 100%. He turned that entire franchise around. This is a team that historically has been trash for the last 8-10 years. They have a halfway decent season, and then they have one where you're looking at them going, what in God's name are you doing? Then you have another one where they're absolute trash. Then you have another one where they're mediocre. He turned them into a world beater this year. Listen, they get past the Rams. I don't see any reason why they couldn't go to the Super Bowl. I fully anticipate that they will get past the Rams. And now you're talking about having to beat a who was the one seed in the NFC again?
Seattle.
Seattle's the one seed?
Yeah.
Okay. So if Seattle loses San Francisco, I don't see Frisco winning in Chicago in January. So if Ben Johnson in year 2 takes that team to the Super Bowl, holy shit. Yes, he should be coach of the year.
Let's bring up another name in another situation who was able to take rags and turn them into riches. Granted, whatever schedule you want to talk about, we already discussed that with Vrabel. We knew that New England's got something special with Drake May. Look at what Liam Cohen did down in Jacksonville. That was supposed to be a top 5 pick. The Browns, for owning that first round pick, as you and I as Browns fans, they were supposed to have 2 picks in the top 10. Now they're picking at 6 by winning the last 2 games of the regular season, and they're going to be picking at 24 because Jacksonville goes out and gives Buffalo all that they can handle at home. Buffalo wins their first playoff game on the road in 30 years at that point. And Jacksonville has got something here, even without Travis Hunter for the last 6 games of the season and also the playoff games. So Liam Cohen could get something done with that ragtag pack of misfits. Ben Johnson could do the same thing, even though that they've got a lot of great young talent on that offense side of the ball between Cole Kmet, Loveland, Odunze. You add in a veteran like Sweat, um, you know, Monangai, uh, and naturally Caleb. And it's putting the right things together, but it's also trying to be able to look competent with what you have, and just how Ben Johnson can't do that with some of the talent that the Jet with that high price talent that the Jets have is just it's mind boggling a little bit.
Here's the thing you miss, and I'll make this as the last point, so we're going to wrap up the segment. Joe Tunney went from Kansas City to Chicago. Mahomes lost his blind side, and it went to Caleb Williams. I don't think it's a big shock that the Bears are a better team now that their line has actual weight to it.
So let's wrap up the first pre-recorded segment in the history of the Wise Guys Sports Show with the new format, Wise Guys 3.0 at this point. And let's kind of throw some names out there. Where do we think that they are in 2026? So we'll go rapid fire here. Mike, we already know about John Harbaugh. What about Mike Tomlin?
ESPN.
Yeah, I think he ends up on TV. I'm not sure if it's Fox or Prime, but he's definitely taking a TV gig. What about Jonathan Gannon? Could he get a coordinator gig possibly with the new Browns regime being from Cleveland?
Um, the dickhead move is OC with the Raiders.
What about Mike McDaniel?
Cleveland.
I'm
Unless they hire
I'm
Jim
starting
Schwartz, it's Cleveland.
I'm starting to think that the Mike McDaniel to Cleveland rumors are gaining a lot of steam. And I
Apparently,
may not.
he's in Strongsville buying a house.
Is it Cower's old house?
I think so. The same one Mike Tomlin was going to buy too.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Stefanski.
Arizona.
I think Tennessee.
Interesting.
I think him and Cam Ward could be very interesting, but yet the fact of we he couldn't make it work with Shadur in year one and is actually going to basically go coach, Shadur only a higher draft pick in year two in a new gig. Very interesting, potentially.
We don't have enough time for that debate right now.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, Pete Carroll ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I think it's time. Oh wait, he'll be Belichick's OC at UNC.
This isn't Shady Pines, my friend.
Shady Pines, ma.
And in our blast segment of the week, or our 5 good minutes segment, not to totally infringe upon PTI, uh, earlier this week it came out that, and caused quite a stir, that five-time major champion and PGA defector Brooks Koepka is rejoining the PGA Tour for the 2026 season. Michael,
That it, I've seen some of the things written about it, and of course, we know there are certain players who want to fight him. Tiger seems happy. Um, not infringing on PTI. I say we should call this the 5 minutes of the week. Sticks with our whole general thing. But Jim, you have been more into this live PGA thing over the last couple of years, with as much fire and vitriol behind it as some of your other things you and I get into, salary cap stuff with baseball, college football doesn't mean shit anymore, things like that. Expand upon what you think this means about this, because this next 5 minutes is all you, dude. You know more about this than I do, and you're better versed in it. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you. What do you think this does, and do you think there's any more defectors after their contracts are up?
well, the rule that, or I should say, the kind of agreement that came out was the PGA Tour this week established what they're calling the returning member program, and it was offered out to the four biggest players that defected to live in the last few years: Bryson DeChambeau, Cameron Smith, John Rahm, and Brooks Koepka, all of which have won majors, and also all four of which have won majors after leaving the PGA Tour to go to live. Koepka, we talked about, has got 5 majors. DeChambeau's got 3, Cameron Smith's got 1, Rahm's got 1. But the rule is deemed by PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap, is that there's a deadline of February 2nd for these players to opt out of their live contracts and come back to the PGA Tour at a very steep price. They have to commit to play in at least 15 co-sponsored events or approved events during the 2026 season. There are only 12 tournaments on the live schedule for 2026. They have to give a $5 million donation to charity in line with the PGA. They forfeit any of the PGA player equity shares for the next 5 seasons, and they are ineligible to pull from the $100 million FedEx Cup bonus program, which means for Brooks Koepka, he's coming back. He will still be able to earn money on tour. He will still be able to earn FedEx points, but he'll be way behind the 8 ball with that, because his first tournament won't be until the end of the month. He will be able to play in the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, which is always one of the most entertaining tournaments of the year. So he would have to commit to both of those. He's still going to have to qualify to get into any of the majors he has not won where he doesn't have an exemption. So he's finished, runner up at the Open twice. He's not won at Augusta, so he's got to qualify his way in. But he's giving up, they said, anywhere between $50 to $85 million for next season. And the other three players, DeChambeau, Tommy Smith, and I'm sorry, Cameron Smith and John Rahm, they said that they're still with Live because they've still got a couple more years left on their contract. So I'm hoping that Saudi money is very beneficial for them. It's not like they need it because they're not going to be earning really much of a dime, outside of their player person there and their personal endorsements if they go back to PGA.
which is rough. I mean, I understand the anger that they went to Live because of who Lives in bed with, but at the same time, there's a reason they went. And yeah, take the money and run is one thing, but come on, PGA. Part of it is these guys want to come back and play. Let them come back and play. Everybody, everybody benefits from it. You're going to make this
Well,
guy lose all this money? That's bullshit.
Well, Brooks wanted to come back to play because Brooks has not made a cut at a major. He didn't make a cut at a major at all in 20. The only cut that he made was at the Open. He finished 12th, and he also finished outside the top 20 in the other four majors. And the other aspect is that by them being on Live, which is not under PGA sanctioning or it's not officially recognized under the World Golf Association, so they're not officially ranked anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that the rankings were affected. Well, I can see why I
So
went
they
back. It was going to
so
cost them a bunch of money.
they only can earn standing based off of their standing at majors or things like, I mean, it's not even like, you know, Ryder Cup or President's Cup, because you know that those players typically don't get pulled by those captains because they're only playing 12 times a year, where, even like Rory or Tiger, they may play 15 times a year, but they're playing in big name tournaments. These guys are playing in shorts, and they're playing 54 hole events, for a boatload of Saudi and Trump money.
Yeah, Brooks is going to have to take 26 on the chin.
I can't wait to see if he gets if the PGA just decides to screw with him and pairs him up with Rory at a big name tournament, whether it's at Phoenix, whether they put him, whether Brooks can qualify for Augusta. But I would love to see something like that, because we said just before we started recording this segment, Rory wants to fight any guy that's with Liv, and Rory is a Hall of Famer. Tiger doesn't mind it because, remember, Liv threw a $800 million at Tiger to jump, and Tiger said no, even though Tiger's dating Trump's ex daughter-in-law at this point. But he's also got his virtual golf thing that he's heading up. Which the difference is with Liv, they're taking that money and they're just flaunting it by playing these 54 hole events in Dubai, in it, in the over in Saudi Arabia and UAE and Trump courses. Whereas Tiger with that virtual is really trying to put golf to a position, I think, and some of the other players that are on that tour that we see on ESPN. First of all, it's very entertaining to be able to get those guys in that situation with those smaller crowds, but it's something that they're hopeful that they can make golf more accessible to everybody, because the more of those types of places that pop up, the lower the costs are going to come down and the more accessible it's going to be to everybody. Golf can actually be a year-round thing if they can put that thing together properly.
No, and it would be a lot of fun. We were just talking. We have a place down here. It's called the Caddy Shack. Not even lying.
Because the world
It's
needs
indoor golf.
ditch diggers too.
Well, they've got that going for them.
One of the few times we get to use the soundboard on the new pre-recorded format.
Well, we'll find interesting ways to do it. You're muted.
Thank you for that. That's the second time I've
Maybe-
but welcome to the live version of tonight's season debut.
Hello, and maybe you should read the chat because myself and our special guest both told you the same damn thing.
Well, with the controls, it was like overlaying everything. So I had the camera on, I just didn't have the audio.
It's all good, man. What would a Wiseys be without something being fucked up at some point in time? Ass. Oh, are you wearing that jersey to piss me off?
I just got very, very simple question, but I think I'll actually let's bring in our special guest for tonight, Michael.
Well, first we have to give our special guest the reason he is a special guest tonight, because something you and I have never done with the Wiseys, this being the 4th Wisey Awards, which is hard to believe. We started this in 2023, right after I moved down to Georgia, because this person gave us the idea. This is someone who has not only been a friend of both of ours for the better part of 4 separate decades, but he has been a contributor to off-camera stuff. He's been a contributor to on-camera stuff. He is one of the 4 horsemen of the Wisey apocalypse, and tonight he will become the first ever human being that we know, that we have carnal knowledge of, to be inducted into the Wisey Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, it is none other than the sporting Sith, Mr. John Rice. Did you bring him in and bounce him?
He did. He brought me in and bounced me right away. He's like, you know what? I think that jersey warrants a flag for no reason whatsoever. Just throw a flag on that
his
jersey.
His or mine?
No, his.
Oh,
His.
okay.
You can't throw a flag
Mike,
on the Mets.
Mike,
you can throw a DPI on Miami all day long.
Quick question, Mike. Since we haven't been on since the end of December, who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
I may not know that, but Bo knows the Mets.
Oh my gosh. That's
And
hilarious.
he's sitting home too.
Yeah, he is. Hey, did you see somebody fake Passan's account and put that the deal between Tucker and the Dodgers is on hold because they have to send him to his gynecologist to check his vagina?
Oh my gosh. So I jumped into your show previously, not realizing it was pre-recorded. And like at one point, you guys were talking about the coach carousel. And I was like, oh, he's gone. Why are you talking about him? He's gone. Why are you talking about him? I'm like, wait, why are you even talking about Mike McDaniel of the Browns? Why are we even bringing this up? Like, he wasn't a good fit the first time. He obviously didn't work in Miami, so he's not going to be a good fit this time. And I'm like, and Stefanski's already in Atlanta. I'm like, what are you, like, you guys are supposed to be up to date with, and then I heard, oh, this is going to be great for this pre-recorded segment. I was like, oh, I'm a fool.
Yeah,
You're not a fool.
On Thursday?
Friday. And I'm going to apologize in advance, guys, because I'm still fighting this cough. There's no other symptoms. It is just literally a fucking cough. It's annoying.
That will happen.
This time of year, man, it's going to linger around until friggin' March.
I have a 4-year-old who's in friggin' school. Of course I'm dealing with shit like this.
Which means Steph will get it, then you'll get it again. So it's just an endless cycle.
You're mocking me, John.
I am, because I love having kids. I love my children so
I
much.
Adore it. I adore them.
And I say that with zero condensation at all.
Same. I actually just put him to bed before, and he fell asleep early tonight.
No sarcasm. Aren't those nights amazing? Aren't those nights just absolutely amazing?
We were like, how quickly, what time do you have to tap out so you can be on the show on time?
Yeah.
And I said to Steph, I said, 8:15, I can be down there and set up in 2 minutes. She asked me at 7:45. She's like, what's going on? I take a picture of him sleeping on my shoulder. She goes, holy shit.
It's fantastic stuff. It is. I adore my children so much.
Oh,
I really do. And I don't say that sarcastically. I actually do mean that. I absolutely adore my children. I can't imagine my life without them now having them. But yeah, it's awesome.
So I'm doing my calendar and my
wipe that smirk off your face, Jim.
So, John, I'm doing my calendar in the planner the other day. And Steph and I are going through stuff. Obviously, Bobby's school schedule. We are planning a trip for spring break to go to New York. First time I'll be up there since I moved. And I look at the calendar in May and I go, son of a bitch. She goes, what? I said, Caitlin's going to be 25 in May.
My goodness.
She looked at me and she goes, look in the mirror. Bitch.
Wow.
Oh, dude. First of all, I'm 47 on Wednesday.
Do you need a number to a lawyer? Do you need a good lawyer?
No, not at all. Because you got to remember something though. With her being nearly 10 years younger than me, these are the jokes we started with. She was working at a nursing home when we first started dating.
Oh, that's where she got. Okay, so she was taking care of you. She was wiping your butt.
That's what she told one of her coworkers when they found out that I was 10 years older than her. So a few weeks later, we're at one of the things for the kids at school. And she's like, I said, you fit in really nice here. She goes, oh, was a teacher? I said, hell no, a student. Just kept walking. So, John,
yes,
I don't know
sir.
if you've watched the Wiseys yet. So we're going to get to the business at hand.
Yes.
And we're actually not going to start with the Wiseys. We're going to start with tomorrow night, which is the second ever national championship game for the 12-team college football playoff. Oh, I apologize.
Well, there's going to be, when we go full pre-recorded next week, I'm going to have things set up for those. So it'll just be a seamless transition.
Very good. So we have the Hurricanes of Miami and the number 1 15-0 Indiana Hoosiers.
And no, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a mistake. It is not March Madness yet. Just letting you know.
Because Miami would be in the national championship game in March Madness.
They have been recently, weren't they? Or no, I'm sorry. I apologize. That was the Florida Gators. That's my mistake. My mistake. Florida Gators.
Oh, here we go. You had to mention them. I got to now deal with this shit too.
What? They're terrible.
This year.
They won the national title last year.
In every in basketball?
Yeah.
Or in cheating.
That's a different color blue, John.
Oh, we will. That individual will show up later in the evening.
Oh, does he now?
Oh, you got Connor Stallions to be on the show,
dude. If we did that, that'd be hilarious.
With the pre-recorded format, I'm not ruling anything out. Michael, Patrick will be on with us before the All-Star break. I got confirmation from him the other night.
Yes. Good.
Leave it to me to drop that joke.
Oh, of course, dude. So let's get into real quick. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this, not because of the teams, but because we have some things to get to this evening. But let's really get into this real quick. So we're talking about the greatest turnaround in college football history against a team that, quite honestly, has gotten hot at the right time, which we see in most playoff scenarios in the major sports in here. So I'm going to start with the first question. Jim, I'm going to open it up to you since you are wearing the Hurricanes jersey. How does Miami beat the best scheme team in college football right now?
Two things. Number one, I am not a Miami fan. It is a Ray Lewis jersey. I did wear the jersey to troll. So I'm going back under my bridge when we come off the air tonight.
Oh, so you're just a fan of murderers.
Still the best defensive player I've ever seen in my lifetime. But I do think if Miami keeps the same game plan that they have to this point, because remember, this was a Miami team that midway through the year got to number 2 in the country, right behind Ohio State, and was plucking off a lot of their number 1 votes and creeping in until they hit that skid of losing 2 out of 3 to Louisville. Then 2 weeks later loses to SMU. But this is still the same Miami team all year round that a lot of people were saying up until they hit that skid was a better formulated team than Ohio State. Ohio State had all the toys and was the best pool of talent, but Miami was the best team. Miami woke up, and yes, they actually were a little bit too far back in the polls to really make a huge, dent. They get the 10 seed, and they've had, whereas Indiana has steamrolled both of their opponents to this point, Miami has played tooth and nail against very, very good talent. If it wasn't going to be Ohio State getting to the national championship, people were talking about it was going to be Georgia coming out of the bottom half of that bracket, the bottom end of the draw. And then Ole Miss gets hot after Kiffin leaves. So Miami's played three really, really good teams that each one had the capability of getting to this point or possibly even being in this game tomorrow night. Because remember, A&M was the second best team in the country and then loses their regular season finale and basically gets shoved all the way down, to the 7th seed, misses out on everything, and then forgets how to play football against Miami in the opener in College Station. So Miami has really found that second gear, but that's something that we've all grown accustomed to under Mario Cristobal, whether it's been at Oregon, but now he's got the team and the talent to be able to make those late season runs that maybe Oregon may have faltered on the last few years before they left for the Big Ten.
John, take it from the Indiana side. I want to see what you got to say about what you think Cignetti and those boys have to do to win this game.
Well, obviously, first and foremost, Google me. That's all I got to say. But no, honestly, though, as I kind of have a personal history with Cignetti. So my first year working in the MEAC, we got assigned a playoff game. And the playoff game that we were assigned was Furman at Elon when Cignetti was at Elon. So I was actually on the sideline on his field with him. And the dude is intense. He is straight up intense. He's a straight to business kind of guy. He's a no nonsense type kind of guy. I have no idea how it's almost like he has cues from a live studio audience and he knows exactly what camera is on, because he'll be looking this way and then he'll just kind of eyeball the camera and be like this way and eyeball the camera. It's like, I don't know how he does it, but he always tends to know what camera is on at whatever point, but he's always giving that stink eye to the camera. With that being said, Jim, you brought up a great point that Miami is getting hot and they beat two very good football teams. The downside is that those were the only two real good football teams that they played all year. They played nobody all year. They played in the ACC, which, let's be honest, is probably even the little brother to the Pac-12 right now. The ACC is garbage. When you have a 7-5 Duke team make it to your ACC championship game, there's an issue with that. I have a huge issue with that. I don't care how the standings fall. A 7-5 team should never make your conference championship, period. As it comes down to Ohio State has the same issue right now currently as the NIL is situated. Ohio State has the same issue that Kentucky had a few years ago in basketball with you can only play with one ball. That's it. You can only play with one ball. You can't throw 11 footballs out there to the 11 best players. No. So there's things that are going to come up. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes. This is where Ryan Day is going to be real tested, because it's like now he has to control all of these attitudes. Now he has to control all these personalities. Now it's a different animal now with the NIL. It's like, sure, you can throw all the money in the world, but here's something else though, too, guys. If you have, and this goes for all college sports, if you have somebody who's willing to throw $5 million at one of the best players to get them to transfer over, what if that person has a bad year? Who's going to throw him another $5 million? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're going to run into that problem too. It's going to be a big issue coming down the road where it's like, and then that's whoever that donor is, they're going to be like, well, I'm not spending another $5,000 or $5 million for you to bring somebody else in who's going to bust. Like, go get that somewhere else. I'm not going to just donate my $5 million to you just for that. To just kind of do well in the regular season and pitter out in the playoff. But as far as tomorrow night is concerned, what does Miami have to do? Just play their ball. Their defense is so good. But Cignetti,
how does Indiana combat that, John?
Cignetti is an absolute mastermind at adjustments. I have not seen anybody make as good of adjustments in game as he has. He makes Kevin Stefanski look like an infant on the coaching carousel.
Remember, he did it a couple of years ago when he was at James Madison.
Yeah. Kevin Stefanski is the world's greatest first drive scripting coach. He is absolutely atrocious after that. Absolutely atrocious. His time management is atrocious. His game management is atrocious. He is just straight up atrocious. I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be kind of awesome if Cleveland and Atlanta could make the Super Bowl. But I was like, Atlanta's not even going to make the playoffs because they have Stefanski as a coach. I'm like, okay, that's great. That's fine. Because I was like super pumped. I was like, oh my gosh, he's in the NFC. But I was like, oh, but he's in the NFC South. Atlanta's not going to do anything there. But anyway,
You
digress.
know why he wasn't going to make the Super Bowl when he was in Cleveland? You know why? You know why?
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 I love that you have that on there now. I adore that you have that on there now.
I actually did that while the pre-recorded stuff was going because the site that I used to cut it is no more.
So I'm going to pivot off yours, John, just to tell you what I think the keys to the game are. One, I don't know if you guys saw this, Jim, but I'll ask Jim. Did you see who the offensive MVP of the Rose Bowl was?
That actually would imply that I watched the Rose Bowl. I haven't
It
watched
was Indiana's
one
left
of these
tackle.
playoff games.
Oh, yeah, it was the offensive
Indiana's
lineman.
left
Yeah,
tackle.
it was the offensive lineman. I did see that.
So here's how they do it. Indiana's offensive line is far better than people have gave them credit for up until this point, till we saw that. If they can win inside, or I'm sorry, on the outside, because Miami's pressure that I watched, I listened to the original run of the Cotton Bowl because I knew I was going to throw a remote through the TV, but I watched the highlight package. The Buckeyes at the tackles had problems all night. Interior wasn't as big a deal. If they can control the tackles and keep those edge rushers and give Fernando an extra even heartbeat, I don't think this game is going to be close. I think Cignetti's got the formula. If Indiana runs Miami off the field and goes 16-0, good God. Good God.
If they run him off the field, it's going to be late in the game. I think because the offensive line is just going to wear down the defensive line.
But that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think, but what I'm saying is I don't think they're going to come out and they're going to dominate from start to finish like they have against everybody that they faced. I think it's going to be excluding Penn State, which I think was just a fluke, but I don't know what happened there. But this Indiana team is the best college football team I think I've ever seen in person. Like not in person, but like I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. Both in all aspects of the game, offensive, defensive, in the trenches, special teams. I mean, they're top 3 offensively and defensively.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's yes. I can see you have a top 5 offense and then maybe like a top 15 defense or something like that, and be in the championship game. But they are like number 3, I think, on offense or they're 2 and 3 or something like that. I know they're in the top 3 for both in both categories.
Yeah, they're top 2. I think it's the number 2 scoring offense, the number 3 scoring defense in all of college football.
And that's insane.
It is. Yeah. And when Jim and I talked about the Big Ten championship game, which we didn't do a preview of because I was sick, but we did the week after when we talked about it, I told him this. I said, I told him the Big Ten title game was not going to be Ohio State running them off the field by 2 scores. This was the number 2 defense in the country. This was going to be whoever had the ball last, whoever made the play when they needed to was going to win that game. And that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, I fully expect Cignetti to finish is this the closest to a Cinderella story we're going to get in college football?
Think of this. If they pull this off tomorrow night, they will have not only the most recent undefeated team in college football, they also undefeated in college basketball, the last school to do it as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think this is. I understand they're ranked number 1 in the country. I understand they are a really good football team. Phenomenal football team. But I it's Indiana football. It's like
That's
and the reason why I say that is because everybody always puts so much weight on, but guys, it's Alabama. They deserve a chance just because they're Alabama. Okay, well, then the same goes on the reverse side. This is Indiana. This should not be happening because this is Indiana football.
And that's the problem
And
that everyone has. And then that's why it's not, I'm certainly going to watch this. It's going to be one of the only college football games I watch the entire season tomorrow night. But because of all the storylines, IU versus the U, Cristobal against Signetti, the turnaround, the blue blood against the upstart, the fact that everyone's thinking that Miami is now showing that they were the best team in the country up until they hit that skid, and the other side of that coin is everyone, even though that they are playing for a national championship tomorrow and they've got some bowl game hardware and some prestigious bowl game hardware going back to their trophy case in Bloomington, everyone is still waiting for the other shoe to drop for Indiana.
I'm going to throw this one out here, but with a caveat. Comparative to the teams they're playing, bigger Cinderella, 2025 Indiana, 2002 Ohio State.
Indiana
by far. It's not even close.
But I don't think it's by far. Think about who they had to play in the national championship game.
It's not even close.
But the whole thing on that too is now you're going to be seeing a lot more of this type of situation where NIL is just going to load up on one team, and then that one team is going to have a Cinderella style type season. Where you could have like a team like Indiana do this. You can have a team like Northwestern do this. I mean, Northwestern has a ton of money to throw at people. They could if they wanted to. They're building a brand new stadium. There's a lot of things that are going on in Northwestern right now. Granted, it's still Northwestern, but still what I'm saying is that what's happening right now in 2025 in Indiana could happen anywhere next year.
Patty Fitz at Michigan State.
Yeah. I mean, look at if LSU turns around and goes undefeated next year and wins a national championship, are we talking about Kiffin the same way we're talking about Signetti right now? Or are we going to be talking about the money that LSU can spend on players?
That's a very, very good point, is because it's the double-edged sword of, you have to look at the program. If it's LSU, people are going to talk money. If it's Alabama, we're going to talk money. If it's Columbus, we'll talk money. If it's Ann Arbor, we're going to talk money. If it's Bloomington, if it's Evanston, if it's
Ole Miss.
Exactly.
I mean, Kiffin didn't do all that on a fluke.
Yeah, and we'll call those, it's depending on who it is. If it's a blue blood out that goes out there and does it, it's going to be, well, they're basically the Dodgers buying everybody up. If it's somebody else, if friggin' Arkansas goes out there next year and does this, everyone's going to be saying, well, I mean, it's Arkansas, they're still in a power conference, so they still have that kind of pull, but people are going to be saying that because Arkansas has got, they're historically more known for their basketball program than their football program, but their football program ain't half bad. It's not like they're Vanderbilt, that Vanderbilt's just kind of turned this thing around in the last 4 or 5 years. Indiana turning this around is partly, in fact, of Signetti with this, and it's the fact that, you had all the movers and shakers of the quarterbacks out there. And a lot of people were thinking that, Carson Beck goes down to Miami, one of the bigger name pieces on the board to be able to go chase a championship, and he could end up getting his wish. Everyone forgot that Mendoza played a couple of really good years out west before he went to Bloomington.
This is an entirely transfer roster. Even from last year when they had a really good year. And Jim, I said this to you when we were talking about the championship game. This is a different defensive scheme and defensive roster than what you saw get run off the field in Columbus last year in their first real test. He remade this whole thing. He brought in the quarterback he wanted. Hell, he brought in the quarterback's friggin' brother just to make sure he had the same guy, you know? And I'm sorry I started laughing before because you said Vanderbilt, and my first thought was they're MILF powered, not NIL powered.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, oh, you're talking about their moms.
At least Pavi is.
Insubordinate and churlish.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. But you didn't tell me I was wrong.
Okay, can we not do that right now?
I'll take one Taylor for tonight. Thank you. So do we think that number one stays, or are we calling an upset here?
I think Indiana wins. I think Indiana wins. I think it'll be by 2 scores, 10-14 in that range. I think they will be tested, but I think they will put that test away in the third quarter, and then at that point it'll just be a grind. Miami, obviously, and we can go through all the cliches if you want, but Miami has to like not turn the ball over and things of that nature, and not give Indiana short field. They have to make Indiana work for their stuff, not let Indiana take any big shots or get any big plays. But I think that's the only way Miami could potentially win. But I think it's Indiana. I'm going like 31-24.
I have Indiana 28-14. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. James?
Hart says Indiana. I got Miami 24-17. I think the way that they've bullied a lot of their opponents, and they're just getting stronger, and every time people start to push back on them, they just get meaner, and they wake up and they realize this is the U, and we got a chance to come all the way back.
Bigger post-game internet celebration. If Indiana wins and Fernando Mendoza cries on camera and becomes the media darling, or if the U wins and Michael Irvin looks like he's taken 14 pounds of blow at one time.
That's called Saturday for him.
Listen.
Yeah, the thing is Mendoza's going to cry, but it's not going to be for the reasons that you think. Because he's gonna be celebrating the championship for about 5 minutes, and then he realizes, oh shit,
I'm going to the Raiders.
To Vegas.
You know, they used to tell people they were going to Disney World if they won big championships. Now you're going to the worst team in the NFL.
I mean, he gets to go back out west, and he'll be, if he doesn't get busted up tomorrow night, just wait 6 months.
Truer words never spoken. So, James, it's time to show John the hilarity and the insight that is the greatest night in underground sports internet media, in my humble opinion.
I was working on a formal intro for this, and then I didn't back it up, so I lost it.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know. Who's more upset than that about that than me? But
by the way, love the jersey. Love the jersey.
Me or
the one on your wall?
Oh,
I was like, who are you talking about? I was like,
it's Manny from Ice Age, and Sid the Sloth is playing quarterback tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think I'll have to wear Tusky when we go pre-recorded next week.
I've been waiting since we started talking about tomorrow night to make that joke, so we can move on now.
Wrong one. We present the 2026 Wisey Awards. Our first category this evening. Michael, this was one of yours.
Yeah, it's the best team. And of course, we have Washington women's soccer, their first full season, second season in the Big Ten. They win the Big Ten championship just days after losing goalkeeper Mia Hammond to kidney cancer. The Indiana Hoosiers, who we just spoke about in depth, the 15-0 season playing for their first national championship tomorrow night. The Dodgers, the first repeat World Series champion since 1999 and 2000. The New York Yankees in a thrilling 7-game series that no one saw Toronto giving them. The Florida Panthers, repeat Stanley Cup champions, 3 straight trips to the finals. Of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder win their first NBA title in Oklahoma City and their first since the year I was born, when they were in Seattle and coached by Cleveland legend Lenny Wilkins. And James, if you would please unveil the Wisey for best team of 2025. The Washington Huskies women's soccer team. Now, here's the thing. Not only did they win the Big Ten, literally they found out she died that morning.
Wow.
And they went out and won the Big Ten. Her replacement stonewalled 2 kicks during penalty kicks.
Wow.
So when we did the awards, and John, this is the only episode we write. We actually had a Google Doc going with what we wanted to do. Just for what they had to overcome to get that championship, and then to get to the Elite 8 in the NCAA tournament, that's a huge, huge thing.
Wow. Yeah.
Moving on, James.
Congratulations to them. That's a heavy burden to carry, and good for them for overcoming it for a little while and kind of putting that little chip on their shoulder and taking it with them.
Best performance, Michael. I did take some liberties with this from what you had put up, but we got Yamamoto from the Dodgers. Multiple complete games. He had a complete game in Game 2, complete game in Game 6. Helped the Dodgers go back to back. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won the NBA regular season and Finals MVP, helping the Thunder to their first World Championship in over 40 years. Fernando Mendoza, who we've already talked about tonight, the Heisman Trophy winner. He has got Indiana playing for national championship just 24 hours from now, and is likely going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Myles Garrett.
What was the ding?
I just got breaking news. Oh, never mind. There was breaking news that showed up on my phone, and I was wondering what it was, but it was like there was a delay on something. Myles Garrett breaks the NFL single-season sack record on a 4-13 Browns team, getting the sack in the final week of the regular season, where a lot of people thought that he wasn't going to get it with the way he was getting doubled and chipped. And Asia Wilson pulls an SGA, wins the 2025 WNBA MVP and the Finals MVP, and becomes the first 4-time MVP winner in league history.
And the Wisey for best performance.
He finished 3rd in Cy Young voting on a team that had Shohei Ohtani. He threw complete games in 2 and 6, and then he goes out and throws 2 2/3 scoreless, allowing the Dodgers to hold Toronto at bay and win in extra innings, and then gets a World Series MVP. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, easily the best performance of 2025.
Is this the one I told you you'd pick?
I believe so. You had a few others in there, and one of them was the Jeremiah Smith touchdown. Yeah, that was a semifinal game. It didn't matter.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That throw to Smith was in the final.
It still didn't matter because they won the game handily.
Okay.
My vote would have went to Garrett. Only because I get to see him on a full-time regular basis. And the Browns were not very good this year. and they weren't playing with a lot of leads in order for other teams to pass the ball much. And I have never, in my years of being alive, I have never seen a team game plan so hard against giving up a sack that they were willing to give up the win. And I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That was hilarious.
Yes.
Like, they were willing to give up a win versus giving up the record sack. And I've never ever seen that in my life. And right there, that told me that I'm watching the best NFL defensive player I've ever seen in my life.
And there's no doubt he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year at the NFL awards here in 2 weeks. John brings up an excellent point that if the Browns had any kind of offense to be able to get a lead or even, sustain one in a second half this year, does Myles Garrett end up with 30 sacks?
Yeah, that's insane that we're talking about that potential.
Because keep in mind, he was held sackless up until he gets the one against Burrow, and people are saying it's a give up. It's like, no, either he goes down or protects himself, or he gets reamed.
No, the Brett Favre one was a laydown.
Yeah,
and the one that he got in Cincinnati was not a laydown.
Yeah, and then
that was self-preservation.
3 games before that, he had 2 games with more than 4 in a game.
Yeah,
including 5 of them against New England in a game they still got blown out in.
Yeah.
Hey, here's my question. Was it this year that Myles Garrett hit Joe Burrow so hard you and I were wondering if Joe was alive? Was that week 1?
No,
he just came around and hit him?
Flacco played.
No.
No, Flacco was starting for the Browns.
That was week 1 this year that he hit Burrow so hard we thought Burrow was dead.
It was in Cleveland, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way,
because I know he creamed him last year as well.
And let me just say this. Myles Garrett this year also gave us the greatest mic'd up moment, in my opinion, in NFL history. When that O lineman from Green Bay turned around and said, "Jordan, run."
Yeah. Yes. Yes. He's had a couple.
Or him getting yelled at for smiling at Devin Bush on the.
Yes, I
Devin Bush,
love
like,
that. Block him. Block him. Yes, there's been a couple that I've really appreciated from him, and it's like, yeah, and yeah. But moving on, James.
Michael, this is
the best moment. The Andy Pages catch in Game 7 of the World Series, which was epic. Paige Beckers ends her Connecticut career with a national championship. Myles Garrett breaks a single-season sack record. Rory McIlroy finally breaks through at the Masters, and Alex Ovechkin breaks the all-time NHL goals record. James?
This one I took some liberties with.
I have a feeling I know who you said, and I don't disagree with you.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh.
I can't help but laugh at this every single time.
It was your idea.
A pledge pin on your uniform.
We watched it. We cried along with him. Rory finally getting the green jacket. It was one of the best final days at Augusta we have ever seen. He does not get the lead until the front 9 of round 3, where he birdied 6 of his first 7 holes. He has the lead. He hits an errant tee shot on 16. Justin Rose birdies. They go to a playoff. He wins on the first playoff. And just the emotion that came out of him, immediately just started crying on the 18th green at Augusta. He becomes the 6th ever to complete the career Grand Slam, and really becomes the poster boy for the PGA Tour, with all the tumultuousness surrounding the LIV merger most of 2024 after that.
First things first, that's a big word for 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, just so you know, sir. Second, is it just me, guys, or is this reaction to winning a major really just reserved for Augusta? Think about it. Earl and Tiger, Tiger and Charlie, Jack in 86, when Phil won his first one, when who's the one I'm thinking of now?
Payne Stewart.
Well, this
That
is
was
like,
US
That
Open.
was US Open.
this is to me, the Masters is now bear with me when I say equivalent to Daytona in NASCAR. It's like it's the biggest tournament of the year. It's early in the year, just like Daytona. It's the biggest race of the year, and it's the first race of the year. It kind of sets the tone for everything else. And it's like there's no other tournament that, yes, there's 3 other majors, but there's no other tournament that rises to this level. So, and that's like with NASCAR, there's no other race that rises to the level of Daytona. So when you win Daytona, you are like idolized for that full year, and you still have all of the races left to go. You could finish dead last in the Cup standings, but you won Daytona.
Remember,
Same thing with PGA. You can
Yeah.
finish dead last in the PGA standings, but you won the Masters.
I mean,
Yeah.
Trevor Bayne won a Daytona 500 and has really kind of fallen off the face of the planet in years, since he won it. But he's always going to have his name on that trophy. The Masters is the best golf tournament in the world, and it's not even close because of how exclusive it is. And for former winners, past winners that actually get to tee off on Friday, the caddy contest, the par 3 contest, the pomp and circumstance that goes with it, having the all white uniforms on the caddies. It's the first major of the year. You still have to win several tournaments to be able to qualify that early in the year, which is why we've got, golf in Phoenix next week, in 2 weeks, at the Waste Management Open. The first tournament of the year is next weekend. It's just
Masters question here. Obviously it's Augusta. Obviously it's the Masters. Obviously they have probably the best, if not the best, grounds crew in all of golf. With what happened last fall and everything with the storm that ripped through and did a lot of damage to the course, are they going to be ready for all that come April? I'm sure they are, but it's like you can't. It puts kind of a crazy timeline on things.
Well, I was just up there. My brother-in-law's in Grovetown, which is a suburb of Augusta. By the way, main road in Augusta, Georgia is the Bobby Jones Expressway.
One of the
sense.
6.
Makes sense.
Now, here's the kicker. If you don't know what road it's on, you have no idea where Augusta National is. It is hidden.
Yep. For good reason. It's the most famous golf course on the planet.
Yeah.
And I have directions.
Well,
because we're gonna.
But and luckily it's in Georgia, so it's in the south. It's a little bit northern Georgia, but it's still southern a little bit.
Mhm.
So they're not going to get the winters, so they could work right through the winter and still kind of do things to kind of fix things up and get things ready to go. But yes, Big Rican.
Gentlemen, it snowed in Grovetown today.
All right then.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of my parking lot this morning because I couldn't get out of my parking space. You shut your mouth.
I'm in the fucking South, dude. Knock it off.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Okay, now we've had a fucking Wedding Crashers reference here.
Lock it up.
Yeah. Go comatose for me, baby.
I can't with you two. I adore it, but I can't. Because we are a family of traveling Mormon singers.
From Salt Lake City.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we are.
But this goes to 11.
What's next, dude? Huh?
Worst team.
Can I just say, why is my team always in the top, and how come the fucking Browns aren't there?
Because there were teams, surprisingly
Worse
enough,
than
as
the
much
Browns?
as we talked about them, there were teams that were worse.
So the $765 million in payroll obviously is not the actual payroll they paid out. That is including any luxury tax penalties that they had. And yes, they missed the playoffs. No, wait a minute. 765 is Soto's contract. You're a dick. Penn State in college football opened the season with national title aspirations. Fired James Franklin as head coach in week 6 and finished 7-6. The Raiders, highest paid offensive coordinator and oldest head coach, finished 3-14. 76ers signed Paul George, finished 24-58. And of course, the NHL, the Nashville Predators, signed Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault in free agency, and they finished 14th in the Western Conference. I have a feeling of who this is going to be.
There was only 13 teams in Western Conference. That's impressive.
That's it. Listen.
16. Yeah. Not so fast, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
The fact that
I
you guys
appreciate
actually had a share of first place, this was a team that started out number 2 in the AP poll, starts 3-0 in conference, beating Villanova as one of their non-conference, and then lost their first 6 in Big Ten play. They get James Franklin fired, who couldn't have gotten signed to Vatech fast enough, won the Pinstripe Bowl to finish above 500. We've seen Florida State be ranked high and fall out. We saw what happened with Notre Dame, to where Notre Dame was able to rebound from their horrible start and still get themselves, if there was an NIT in college football, Notre Dame would have had the number 1 seed. There's still a lot of people who saw those first round games, and if they wanted to roll it back, Notre Dame would have been in the field. Penn State has zero excuse. They had a Heisman Trophy preseason favorite in Drew Aller, or at least a finalist. They had a team that a lot of people were thinking were going to win the Big Ten, and they went splat.
There's nothing else to say. And the thing is, it wasn't coach. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it was coaching. I think it was circumstance. I think losing Oregon the way they did, and that was a great game, just took such wind out of their sails, especially at home. And then it just derailed them. And UCLA had the perfect game plan. It's unfortunate. My father had to sit through that season because my father is a Penn State fan. It sucked. I think Franklin will be good at Vatech. But yeah, that was tough. It was tough to watch too, because we expected 5 teams from the Big Ten beginning of the year to have a chance of getting in the playoff. They were supposed to be one of the 5.
And they were just supposed to be one of the 5. There were a lot of people that were thinking they were going to be the top of the 5.
Yeah. A lot of people at the beginning of the year, with what they lost after winning the championship last year, thought the Buckeyes were going to take a step back and be that one of the lower seeds and would get in because they're Ohio State. No one saw that coming. And these guys, John, I know you were high on Drew Aller. I've never been personally.
You know what? I was high on him coming out of high school, and he has slowly, if you notice, I haven't really been honking his horn much the last couple of years because he has slowly been deteriorating, and it's a slippery slope. And I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell you that, okay, Penn State had this problem. They had this problem. They had just an overall general problem. And they just could not get the monkey off their back for some reason. They just couldn't. Nothing they could do was right. Every time I would hear about Penn State, it was like they would have 5 turnovers, 6 turnovers. Their defense was giving up 45 points. And it's like, what is that? Like, what's going on? That is not the Penn State that was supposed to be this, dominant Big Ten powerhouse this year. But yeah, so crazy.
I mean, we thought about fall from grace with Arch Manning. Drew Aller was going to be a day 2 pick, and now he's going to be a UDFA. He might be playing on
Yeah.
Saturdays in the UFL.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Or he's going to petition for another year.
His name is not Trinidad.
Yeah, but Aller's got the injury.
And it's not like a cough.
No, he tore up his ankle against
No,
Oregon.
I know. That's what Trinidad was going off of a medical red shirt on like a cold where he missed like 2 or 3 games.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm dead serious. Like that's what the reports came out. Like it was like he was petitioned for a medical red shirt because he missed like 2 or 3 games with like some type of like bronchitis or something. Just fact checking.
No.
Are we mostly kind of disappointed in Drew Aller because he's from our neck of the woods?
I'm disappointed
Yes,
because
because-
not because he's from our neck of the woods, but because he was one of the best coming out of our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Like this dude was like just lighting it up. He was he reminded me very much of what's his dude from Norton High School who I believe went on to Missouri and then got in a lot of trouble with some drugs and women and then ended up
Johnny Manziel.
No, Missouri, not Texas A&M.
Sorry.
But I can't. But there was a guy that came out of Norton High School, like just south of like Akron, Canton area, and played at Missouri. And I cannot think of his name for the life of me. But he was lighting it up in high school and had, threw for like 5,000, 6,000 yards this last year, just like Drew Aller did. And same thing, just it's like, but
Harry
Hey,
Eck.
hey guys.
what's that?
Was it Harry Eck?
That sounds familiar.
I was going to say, I'm a Mizzou fan, and I don't even remember him.
Hey, I want to put you guys both in the Wayback Machine. Do you want to know what I heard in my head when you said guy from the area that did really good? I heard Pete Siska.
Mitchell Trubisky?
I'm sorry. Dr. Peter Siska.
Yes.
Who, John, you and I will probably be maybe seeing later this summer.
He's a year ahead of you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Maddie Mock. From
Okay.
Kenton. From Kenton,
Okay.
Ohio.
Matty Mock was from Canton?
I remember
Kenton.
Matt.
Kenton.
I remember Matt
Kenton. Kenton, Ohio.
I remember
Mock.
Matty Mock too.
Yeah.
But he was huge. I think he was Mr. Ohio. He was Mr. Football in Ohio his senior year, just like Drew Aller. He had all the signs of all this stuff, but then got in a lot of trouble at Missouri. Gotten a lot of like legal issues and legal troubles. That's who it was, Matty Mock.
And that's actually when they turned the program over to Drew Lock, then Probilla. Yeah, it was if it wasn't for Mock's issues, they don't turn over to Drew Aller and start to Drew Lock and start to turn that program around.
Yeah.
Jeez. What we got next, sir?
Michael, this is all you.
This is my funny award of the year. And it is the biggest dumbass of the year. We're going to start from the bottom. David Stearns, Mets president of baseball operations, spent $760 million to miss the playoffs for the second time in 3 years and almost forced me to commit a hate crime. Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, whose incompetence is going to lead to a work stoppage at the highest popularity of her league in its history. Lane Kiffin, who leaves Ole Miss for LSU with Ole Miss getting into the playoff. Ole Miss advances to the semifinals. And then we have Captain Snow Bunny, Sharon Moore, Michigan head football coach, who was fired and arrested within a 48-hour period after the loss to Ohio State. James.
I don't think Faber College is good enough. I'm trying to find a decent enough soundbite for this.
It should be Law and Order.
Ding ding.
Oh, I had one and I lost it.
Bum 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 bum. Boom, boom, bum, 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 bum.
You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to tell you. And John, I don't mean this as a shot at you personally. But I miss the days when people used to say tattoos were the biggest thing wrong with college football.
Well, I guess now you
This
can say tramp
motherfucker.
stamps are the worst thing that's happened to college football. Still,
You
still
think that's what
tattoo-
did it?
Still tattoo related? No, I don't know. This was yeah.
Hold on. The best one I've seen so far. First of all, you know they play Mr. Brightside in between the third and fourth quarter like they do jump around in
Yes.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Which we all know Mr. Brightside is about a guy getting cheated on, which is hilarious, by the way.
Yes.
You had to bring that
Someone
up after
did-
my boys got eliminated yesterday.
Someone did that and said the new song is going to be It Wasn't Me.
Oh my gosh.
And they
That's
actually
hilarious.
AI'd the entire big house singing It Wasn't Me.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Have you seen some of the
Like-
first of all, this is a very sad situation. Let me say that first of all. This is actually has human issue to it, and it's
Yes.
terrible.
Yes.
But how fucking stupid you got to be.
Yes. I don't know. Obviously we'll probably never know. We know the details. Like we know the important, very discipline deserved details. What we
Yes.
do not know is the intricate, intimate details that led into everything that happened.
Yes.
Agreed.
Let's
Yeah,
take a look
yes.
at the bottom of that page. His preliminary examination before they decide whether or not they want to proceed to trial is later this week.
Well, the reason why I say that is because we also don't know how or if his wife knows or is involved in any way, shape, or form.
That's a good point, John.
Because there could have been. It's 2025. Let's just be honest. Sexual relations are very open nowadays. Very open, to the point of relationships are very open nowadays. We don't know if there was more behind the curtain than what we know. Like, you know what I mean? There could have been more behind the whole situation. The problem that I have with it is whether or not you got caught, whether or not whatever you did brought this negative attention, own it. Own it. Do not go threatening another woman in any circumstance for any reason whatsoever. I don't care what you want to do with your sexual relations. That's on you. But what you don't do is you don't involve situations of that legality, immorality. Immorality. I couldn't put the
Thank
word
you.
together. Like that's, and he absolutely deserves disciplinary action for that.
I was very saddened by this, first of all, when it came out. And then, of course, I had my fun with the dark humor shit on the internet because that's just how I cope with shit. That's what I do. But thinking about this more, dude, it just befuddles the mind. It honestly does. It just befuddles the mind. But moving right along, footloose and fancy free, James, what's next?
Our final topic of our final award for the night, my personal category, the best waste of a season. And we got some good ones here. Let's start at the bottom. The Winnipeg Jets win the President's Trophy with 116 points, struggle in the first round of the playoffs, going to double overtime in Game 7, and then proceed to get bounced in the second round in 5 games to the Dallas Stars. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers start 6-2, finish 8-9, and lose a tiebreaker to the Carolina Panthers, making them the first division winner in a number of years with a losing record. The Ohio State Buckeyes start off 13-1, defending national champions, and then lose their first playoff game to Miami, who's playing for a national title tomorrow night. The Cleveland Cavaliers start the season 15-0. They earn the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and for the second straight year, they get bounced in the second round of the playoffs. And the Milwaukee Brewers finish with the best record in the National League and then only get swept by the Dodgers in the NLCS. At least they win a playoff series. And the best waste of a season the overrated state Buckeyes.
First of all, they started number 3. And yes, they were number 1 by week 1.
In the AP.
They were 2 in the AP. I thought there were 3 in the AP.
2 in the AP. They were 3 in the coaches. Okay. After the first week, they were number 1. You lose the Big Ten title game because your kicker still actually hit a moonshot that is like, I think it's on a collision course with the one that Noah Ruggles shanked years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They get bullied by Miami in the first half of the quarterfinal game, figure out how to play football early in the third, and then still can't actually finish off. I mean, sorry, Junior, the adults are talking. You can go play with all the toys that Daddy bought you.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with this. If you would have done this for the Cavs, you would have absolutely had an absolute right to do it. I will, from a personal perspective, say this. If you'd have told me on my 46th birthday, January the 21st, 2025, that this team would lose 16 starters to the NFL, go 12-0, whoop Michigan, and their only 2 losses would be the 2 teams in the national championship game, it would suck, but I'd take it.
It's still the fact that the game against Indiana was the first game that you guys played against anybody all season, because don't give me Texas, because Texas was insanely overrated. You played nobody up until you reached Indiana. You forgot how to play football against Indiana. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for a little spurt in the third quarter, Miami basically had their way with you and called them, and you get to call them daddy.
Agreed. I don't argue this one with you. Absolutely 100% agreed. You also can't control the trash that the Big Ten turned into on the bottom half. And you can't control that Arch was trash. So, again, 16 starters in the NFL, only lose 2 games, a Big Ten championship game and in the playoff. I'll take it.
National championship or not, I'm really confused as to why Ryan Day still has a job.
I agree. He last year, John, with these very awards, he won my Born on Third Base award.
I don't think he, Mike. I think he's ruining the talent that he has.
Who's your hire? Who's your hire that's going to win 90% of his games, is going to bring you in a top 3 to 5 recruiting class every single year?
Yes, and I'm sorry, he should be winning 95% of his games if that's the case.
Mike, the key is that Michigan loses Shamar Moore. Why did I just call him Shamar? They lose Sharon Moore, and then they go out and they get Kyle Whittingham, who. I mean, it's still a big.
I mean, Urban Meyer has gone on to say that he's the best coach in college football right now.
And
because he was Urban's handpicked successor at Utah.
Right. So if Ryan Day would leave, you honestly think anyone who's under contract, I don't care if it's Signetti, DeBoer, Kirby down in Georgia, any single one of them wouldn't jump at the opportunity? It's not who's your hire. It's how much do you want to pay to go get your guy, because that guy's going to come.
It's not who's your hire. It's who wants the job.
Right.
So let me put the shoe on the other foot. Which one of those guys is going to go to a more unhinged fan base?
I don't think Kirby would leave. I don't think Kirby would leave Georgia.
Kirby's not leaving Georgia.
No.
Signetti's not leaving Indiana. Franklin's going to entrench himself at Va Tech and become Beamer Part 2. Am I 100% on the Ryan Day train? About 85. But here's the bottom line. The guy's been the head coach since 2019.
What?
He's 2-1 in the Big Ten title game.
What?
He's won a national championship.
What?
He's had a wide receiver picked in the first round in the last 6 drafts.
What?
He was honestly a blown call away from beating that LSU team in 2019.
What?
And on top of all that, do it again.
What?
I mean, you said bottom
enjoying
line.
I know. You're not going to find someone who in one area or another, you're not going to take a monumental step back. Monumental step back. You mean to tell me you're going to give a coach a rash of shit who took over for Urban Meyer and made the recruiting classes better?
Yeah, I am, because he hasn't. The hardware isn't better. Your recruiting classes are only as good as the hardware you bring with them.
Okay, so his recruiting classes have brought 2 national championships, or I'm sorry, 2 Big Ten titles, a national title. He's won a Rose Bowl. He's won a Cotton Bowl. He's won.
I was almost going to say, let's not count the 12-team playoff bowl games, because now you're going to have people that could win 3 different types of bowl game trophies.
Right.
Okay, so he's won a Rose Bowl. He's won a Sugar Bowl.
Okay.
He's never played in the Orange. He won the Sugar Bowl with Fields. He won the Rose Bowl with Stroud, that game against Kyle Whittingham. His offense put up 50 points against Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah, but that's also that Utah's in the same boat as BYU, Vanderbilt, Indiana. They're playing with house money, and when you go up against a big boy, you're going to get you may actually get a couple of shots in, but you're going to take a lot more body blows.
Not disagreeing with you. The problem with Ohio State,
he's also
right
got
now,
an entire program that if they don't get their way, the 4 years that they lost to Michigan, when the going gets tough, quit.
Now,
Remember, I had bragging rights over you for one night that I didn't even care about when Mizzou beat Ohio State in that game, because half of Ohio State's team seemed to opt out because they didn't get in the playoff. They quit.
Yeah, but that's crap. Everybody's team opts out if they don't get in the playoff when it was 4 teams.
I mean, Notre Dame completely opted out. Not just
seriously.
not just a player or two. Their entire team said no.
Don't make that a buck, I think, because you're a fucking hater.
No, what I'm saying is, in the Michigan games aside, 1-5, whatever, Michigan games aside,
He's 2-4.
Whatever. Okay, so you're going to sit here and okay, 2-4. So much better.
I'm sorry. What was Harbaugh's record before he started knowing everybody's plays?
And what was Cooper's record?
Cooper was terrible.
So is Ryan Day. That's what I'm saying. Urban Meyer. So if you're going to say that he has the number 1 or 2 recruiting class every single year, then Urban Meyer did more with less. Ryan Day.
Urban would be in the top 5 too.
Urban Meyer, but what I'm saying is Ryan Day needs to do more with more. If that's what he has every single year, he needs to do more with more. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm saying I don't think he's a good fit for Ohio State.
That's a fair assessment.
I like that analogy.
That's a fair assessment.
Because here's the thing. Every single time, Kirby loses or Kalen loses or Lanning loses or Cristobal loses, we just didn't have it. It's a bad end to a good year. You notice every time the last few years the day has come up short, especially against Michigan, it's how hot is the seat underneath him? Do they cut tie?
Yeah, but that's because of the fan base. That's not the actual people who run the football program. That's the fan base. And that's the media. And again, I've said this on other shows. Okay, I understand you're pissed they lost to Michigan. I get it too. That's the one day a year that my wife knows to leave me alone. That's my day. When I have to work on a Saturday because it's the end of the month, I go in early. I leave for the 3.5 hours the game is on, and then I go back. But I've said it before. Who's the hire? That is, you're not going to take a step back somewhere. Because unfortunately, right now, Ohio State has the best of both worlds to a point. And John, you're absolutely right. With the level of recruits he's bringing in and the level of talent he is bringing in, this should be a lot higher. But it's not.
Yeah.
At the same time, are you going to keep the winning up here if you change coaches and your recruiting goes to here?
But
they had the number one wide receiver almost leave because Hartline went to USF.
That's what I was going to say. I would either bring back Hartline or I would bring back Fickle.
I honestly believe, Fickle, no, they won't do that. Not with what he's turned Wisconsin into. They won't do that. That would be the worst thing they could do because he would be under even more scrutiny than he was taking over for Tressel. If Hartline goes to USF and has a good few years, I can see it kind of like we thought they were going to do with Andrew Berry, move him to the president of football operations and bring in a new GM. I can see you elevating Ryan Day to like almost like the commission, not the commissioner, it's the wrong word,
General
but almost
manager.
like the GM. Yeah. The GM at Ohio State.
President of football operations.
Basically, and give Hartline the job. I can see that happening because you won't lose the recruiting thing. Now, does he bring the cachet to bring in guys because of his time in the NFL? Day's time in the NFL, that is. Chip Kelly quit a job to be the OC at Ohio State. Matt Patricia or Bill O'Brien would have been the OC there had he not gotten his alma mater's job at BC. Matt Patricia came off the fucking couch to be the DC because he's running a program that gets guys to the NFL. And now, especially in the NIL world, that's all these kids want.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
bring
not
me somewhere I can win and bring me somewhere it's going to get me to the first day of the draft.
I was going to make the joke, but we need to move on. And unfortunately, I got to bring the mood down a little bit, fellows. We've had some fun. But those are your Wisey Award winners for this evening. But now we turn to our least favorite part of the night. This is a vastly different list from what we had last year, fellas.
Wow.
Yeah, last year's list wasn't this long. I mean, just
actually it was.
Look, was it this long?
Yeah, I still had 15 on there.
Jesus.
I could have done more, but these were the 10 most these were the 15 most notable ones that I could think of.
I don't think you missed one either. And
it's not Ryan. It's not Ryan. It's Ryan.
Right. That's every time we see it, it's going to be the soundbite he's going to be most known for.
Yep.
And we lost Big George Foreman. Bobby Jenks was sad. Mangold was
Hogan. Wow, crazy. Wilkins. Crazy. Wow. And if you look at this list, I mean, there weren't very many that were like that you would consider like old age.
Yeah. I mean, Ricky Hatton, yeah, but I mean, that was unfortunately that was suicide. Greg Biffle was 46, 46, 40, or maybe even 51, but that was a helicopter crash.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That was just recently. That was just in the last couple of weeks, wasn't it?
I mean, Nick Mangold was kidney failure. He's a year younger than my sister.
That's crazy.
And remember, Euchre, I want to say yesterday was the 1 year anniversary for Uke, or it might have been 1 year today.
Wow.
Yeah. That's unreal.
Wow.
I remember doing the segment about Dryden too, Jim.
Yeah. Just for as great as he was on the ice, just everyone, our generation is going to know him for the calling the Miracle on Ice with Al Michaels.
Yeah.
A lot of people
forget.
That's
46 years ago.
And just
remember, I know, isn't that crazy?
with George Foreman, a lot of people our age now remember him for his grills, but people also don't read public knowledge. His name hasn't been attached to those since 1998. He sold the naming rights.
Oh, wow.
First boxing match I ever watched start to finish. George Foreman, Michael Moore, when George won the title.
Yep.
Wow.
On HBO.
46.
And I remember, I want to say it was Jim Lampley. The ghosts of Kinshasa have been exorcised. Were his first line after Moore went down. Mongo. Oh.
I mean, we were all thinking that Steve McMichael was going to be. I'm actually surprised that. I mean, all due respect to Mongo, it was we all were expecting this to be on last year's show and even the year before that.
No, Mongo held on.
Yeah.
And he's got a little magic as the NFC divisional game has just gone to overtime.
Oh, wow.
17-17. Apparently, Caleb Williams threw a magical touchdown to tie it as time expired.
Wow.
But Jim,
But look at also
bring the
some of
move
the
back
other
up.
names on here. Lenny Wilkins, Hall of Fame. Ken Dryden, Hall of Fame. Sandberg, Hall of Fame. Kenny Easley's in the Hall of Fame. Foreman's in the Hall of Fame. Dave Parker's in the Hall of Fame. Mongo's in the Hall of Fame. Bernie Perrant's in the Hall of Fame. Hogan's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we thought of Hogan in his later years, for everything that he did outside, we can't argue. I mean, with the politicking and everything, I mean, that's why I pulled that photo from his younger years. It's just because of the bad taste he left in everyone's mouth later on in life.
That's a Thunder Picks picture.
Yeah.
Thunder Lips.
I want to say that was Horace Boulder era, like NWA, like 74.
Wow.
remember the cartoon?
Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus. But Jim, we should bring it back up because we still have the moment of the evening to do.
We do. I'm going to take this down. And gentlemen, sit back, for even though we said that we weren't going to be on the air very long after the pre-recorded, and we're now pushing almost 2 hours at this point.
That's with the pre-recorded.
What's that?
That's 2 hours with the pre-recorded.
Yeah, but gentlemen, sit back and enjoy for the next few minutes.
What are the Browns going to do, guys?
Fuck up.
Fuck it up.
Oh my God.
That is, ladies and gentlemen, that was not scripted at all.
And by the way, we have gotten jokes out of that thing for the last 4 years.
I still can't find their jersey.
I'm sure they pulled that shit up the thing too. They probably heard what we said and figured it out.
No, I can't find their jersey. I still can't find it.
Oh yes, well,
Alex got it.
the next picture we have for you, John, might help you with that.
Guys, can we tone it down for a minute here? To all the creators of these insanely ridiculous team logos, I'm submitting my application for editor and final say person to oversee these decisions, because whoever is doing it is a moron.
John, your opinion of what the Chicago Bears have done in moving Justin Fields and bringing Caleb Williams and essentially guaranteeing Caleb Williams is the number one pick in the draft.
I mean, I can take a shit and put it in a box and mark it guaranteed, but that doesn't mean it's going to work, right?
Oh my God. He read a text chain between him and his brother and his dad on here a few months ago. And the one from his dad started out with, "Let's go see your future stepmother."
That's so funny.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
And then
But it was so.
and then somehow, some way, it devolved into. Real quick to finish up,
Just give me-
the texting with my dad, myself, and my brother starts into, don't be mean. That's that's your stepmom you're talking about, and then it devolves into stepmom stuck in dryer.
Oh my gosh. Please tell me he did not go down that rabbit hole.
No, his brother and him did.
Oh.
Get a mini grill and as many propane tanks as we can carry.
Oh, that's safe.
Well,
yeah, I was thinking, what the fuck is he gonna blow up?
Most likely a porta potty.
Hi, I'm Big Regan, and welcome to Jackass.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh.
Ladies
That
and
is-
gentlemen, the 2026 Wise Guys Hall of Fame inductee, the sporting Sith, Mr. John Rice.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. The crazy thing is, I had the kids all weekend, so I really wasn't even prepared to write anything down, but it's like, fuck it, we don't write anything down anyways, right? So it's like, so it's like, why not just wing it? So I appreciate you guys so much. Obviously I love entertaining. I love doing this kind of stuff, and the sports and gaming has been able to bless me with a platform to be able to do this to a growing audience. And I appreciate you guys for bringing me in and allowing me to just kind of be myself and just do these things. Obviously, it is it is a thank you. So I do have to honestly thank God for giving me the opportunity to be able to live this life and do this. I feel very blessed. A lot of things have happened in the last year or two, and it's coming full circle. And I really think that 2026 is going to be a huge year for me, the Sporting Sith brand, and the community as a whole. And shaved, not bald. Remember that. And so I do have to say thank you very much for kicking off 2026. And like, the sky is the limit, and we still have 11 months to go. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
John, you were entirely welcome. It was a blast putting that video package together earlier this afternoon. And when we kind of quote unquote, photo bombed your chat the other night, Mike and I trying to coordinate, do we go in on Twitch? Do we go in on his YouTube channel? I ended up staying for an extra hour afterwards. Congratulations on a couple of your battle royale victories that night. But a lot of what we do on this show it comes out of ideas that you have given us on the air and off. Michael?
I mean, I just remember it was the last episode we had you on before I moved, and it was the second to last one of that year because Alex was on the last one the week of my birthday. And we were just, I want to say that was like an hour after we went off the air, that we were just sitting there just shooting the shit about what we can do, stuff we can do on the show. And you're like, do an award show. And the look on mine and Jim's face with the wide eyes and the mouth open, and you're just sitting there going, what? And I got to tell you, we took that because we took a 3-month hiatus when I moved, because obviously we had to pack the house, everything else.
Because Mike, if you remember, not only did he give us the idea for the show, he named the show.
Yes, he did. You got to understand, we started writing the first Wiseys 3 weeks after I got here.
Oh, wow.
Like we were on the phone and it was like, all right, we've got to do this right. And the first one, we even dressed up for it.
Nice.
So the second year I went and ruined it with the jail for the victors t-shirt, but you know. But yeah, so
you got your wish.
First, I made a comment about coloring in the face on it, and Jim wanted to shoot me.
We start off 2026 with at least one, if not
like
two,
that one,
OTRs.
like that one comedian says, blackface is okay in some scenarios.
Oh, like if we're
going out in the middle of the night, if we're going on out in the field, and it's 2:00 in the morning, and mind you, that's a very important part of the description. You want me painted up? And
you look like you, and I look like an iPhone.
Yes, an iPhone light.
But yeah, when we because again, this is the only show we write all year. Even our pre-recorded stuff is we get topic and then we go off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
When we were writing this, I said to him, I go, who the fuck are we inducting in the Hall of Fame this year? Just like that. I was sitting at a light with Bobby in the car seat, in the back seat, and I literally called him. I said, Jim, who the fuck are we inducting this year?
What were some of the ideas that you threw out? Not to take anything away from John.
Well, John was in two of them. The first one was the oyster catchers.
Yeah. But we only had the one segment on that. It was mentioned, but we didn't get nearly as much run out of that.
Speaking of, one of those discount jersey things that has stuff on TikTok, the guy was literally showing the Clit jersey on it the other day.
Oh my gosh.
And I almost said it to you, John, to go, look, dude, I found it. And
John Cena wearing that jersey. Is there anything in the photo?
Just the jersey. Oh, wow. That's a great question. But so we brought it up and I'm like,
I'll take my victory lap.
You should. You know, we thought about it, and when we came to the decision, I was like, yeah, John's got to go in. Because we think about it this way. You've given us the funniest Wisey translator, which was the first one we did with you, with Brett Favre being called Boss Hog and all that other shit. You gave us the idea for the Wiseys. You've given us the best live draft react moment this side of throw it in the Wisey translator, Sanika Wallace.
We've done what, the live draft 4 years or at least the last 3. We've done 4, and the video shows it's delayed, but it's actually because of the way that it's recorded. When we were on the air, all 4 of us in that room heard you guys say that at the exact same moment, completely unscripted.
And we weren't wrong.
That was hilarious. That was so funny.
I mean,
that was great.
Whenever
actually, if you think about it, they didn't, because it was one of the better drafts. It was the best draft class of anybody in the league.
That's true. But whenever you come on, and when we did the end of year show, every OTR was a Horseman episode with you at the reins. It was just symmetry this year. When we start writing the Wiseys next year, hopefully we have a whole bunch of stuff we can do. But this was the year, sir.
Well, I appreciate it.
There will be a specialty. I'm not sure if it's going to incorporate the school that we all went to, but there will be a custom intro for when the 3 of us get together some point here before the Super Bowl.
Nice.
Speaking of, I'm going to ask you this on air. Are you working the Super Bowl this year?
We have not heard yet.
Okay.
We have not been informed of the next 2 weeks. We have not been informed of the championship weekend or the Super Bowl weekend yet.
Okay.
We'll probably find out more, if anything, this week, probably.
If
they'll
you're
probably
not,
because
you have to come on and do the.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if he can say, but if you had the option to go to Mile High or Invesco, which would you prefer? Oh, well, Invesco is Mile High. If you had a chance to go to Seattle or Denver, which one would you love to do?
that's a great question.
Have you
And
been to both?
I've not been to either. And honestly, just because that's the house that Horsetooth built, I would have to go to Seattle. I think that being there for the 12th man experience, I think, and yes, I slid it right in there, Mike.
Hold on. You mean to tell me the guy with the biggest teeth and the biggest forehead played on the same field?
Yes. Yes. So, yes, they did.
How dare you?
Yep. Yep. They had Mr. Ed playing on the big screen.
Well, he did go to
John-
Stanford.
John, do you remember? Because this might have been before I've brought this up on the show. Do you remember growing up in Cleveland like I have? Lanigan, Malone, and Webster on
Yes.
Magic before the Browns games. And what
I
would
don't-
you do for a Browns win?
I don't remember that kind of stuff because I was a during the week kind of listener, and Knuckleheads in the News was a big thing.
Yep.
That was an awesome. I always loved that. That was on Wednesdays. I loved that segment. The Knuckleheads in the News was amazing. So I like growing up with my mom and everything. My mom was always sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee whenever I'd wake up, and she always had WMJI on. She always had them on. So I grew up listening to them pretty much every morning before school. But once it got to the weekends, I was so busy with sports and stuff that I really didn't listen to a lot of radio or TV on the weekends growing up. But yes, during the week, especially school week before school, yeah, listen to them all the time.
Jim, I remember that, even though I'm only in Cleveland for that decade there. Because my father was a huge MJI fan. But the best Lanigan, Malone, and Webster skit was still when they went to the McDonald's in South Euclid and said, "Come get us."
Thank you.
Come get us.
We told Alex that story that night with that was ice fishing, and we actually and then you brought that up with Alex.
The ice fishing. When we said Deshaun was going to put massage tables and ice fishing shanties on Lake Erie.
Oh my gosh.
We had one with Alex that was one of the clips of the year. And it was when Devontae Adams got traded, and they're saying Rodgers knew because they were so close. And I come out with off the top rope. Is that why Shailene Woodley left him?
Wow.
I thought Alex was going to cry.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, Jim?
Okay, let's expand it out now. John Cena wearing the Charlotte jersey, standing next to Aaron Rodgers' wife, who is legally adopted Manti Te'o's girlfriend. I'll take things that don't exist in the sports world for 500, Alex.
He's been gone for a few years now, and it's still Alex. I just love that.
Yeah, I know. It's still, yeah, it will always be that. It will always be that.
I can't watch it with Ken Jennings.
I can, but it's definitely not the same. But I think he does a good job. But it's always going to be for 500, Alex. It's never going to be for 500, Ken. Never.
No.
I'll take the penis mightier, Alex. It is the pen is mightier.
That's not what your mom says, Trebek.
Oh God, I was watching some good ones the other. God, I watched some classic SNL skits the other day. The McLaughlin group with Dana Carvey, where he just kept going wrong.
Yes, the older SNLs were by far superior.
There was another.
I haven't. I couldn't even tell you last time I actually watched Saturday Night Live.
I mean, the only reason you watch Saturday Night Live now is to watch Weekend Update, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, since we have already taken our final segment of the show and made that one of our pre-recorded segments, I think it's time we sign off for the 2026 Wiseys. As always, the Wise Guy Sports Show is brought to you by the deranged minds of the Big Recon on Sports and JC Blue Note. Special thank you to our Hall of Famer, the Sporting Sith, Mr. John Rice. Jim and I will be back with you in our pre-recorded format, episode 135, sometime this week.
You notice
It will
there's no
interrupt
date
my
on
sleep
that
schedule.
anymore. Yes.
No, it will interrupt my sleep schedule. Jim, what do you think? Is our next live event going to be the Super Bowl, you think? The preview, if we do one?
It'll either be the Super Bowl or we may actually, since we got pitchers and catchers reporting here in a few weeks, we may actually start to look ahead for that. But this will actually open up. You know, we said it before. It's not going to take me very long to physically edit these. The only problem is that it actually takes upwards of 30 minutes to export each clip, and then it's just smashing it all together. So it's going to be, I mean, for us, it's going to be about 45 minutes worth of taping. It's going to be about 3 hours worth of editing, but we will be able to start getting you guys the show either Saturday or Sunday. As Mike, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah, I saw
Breaking
it too.
news. The NFC Championship game is set, and it is all NFC West as the Los Angeles Rams have beaten the Chicago Bears 20-17. Alex, great season, dude. Great season, dude.
Shocked me.
Yeah. So we will see you guys.
Daniel Jones,
but little teaser here for future episodes is Caleb Williams, the next CJ Stroud.
See, I thought about this.
Hit hard early and then kind of pitter away. Because let's be honest, CJ Stroud is not the CJ Stroud that annihilated the Browns 3 years ago in the playoffs. He's not the same player.
Michael, thank you for saying that. I'm sorry, John, thank you for saying that, because I was thinking about this the other day, is that just like Mike, if you got around to watching the Bram Awards that I told you about, he said that Marvin Harrison's a very good receiver. He may just not be as great as we all think that he is. You know, for at least with the situation that he's in. Could CJ Stroud start to come into that conversation? He's a franchise quarterback. He's very good, but he's not as great as people make him out to be.
Very true.
I think Caleb Williams can shed that label, even though he did have 3 interceptions today. It was his worst game of the year at the worst time of the year. But I'm still thinking that Caleb Williams has got the potential to be a lot more like Josh Allen than CJ Stroud. And for the fact that Josh Allen cost my Bills that game, having his hand in 4 of the 5 turnovers they committed, and I put that entire loss entirely on him yesterday.
So did he.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Josh Allen. I said it online. It's before we run the translator and get out of here for the night. But I think Josh Allen is not going to win a Super Bowl at this rate until he actually learns to start either taking sacks or throwing balls away. You can't keep throwing balls backwards when the pocket collapses. He's going to be right now. He's going to line up with Marino, Moon, Tarkenton, Kelly. Great ones who never
won. Yep.
That sucks too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason. It's the same reason Favre only got 1.
Yep.
Well, Terrell Davis.
Drew Brees only got 1. He was right in that conversation too.
Yeah, but let's also let's call it what it is. Breeze was also in the middle of the Manning and Brady conversation.
You're right, And Josh Allen is in the middle of the Patrick Mahomes conversation. He didn't have Patrick Mahomes to compete against in the playoffs this year.
But now he's got
this was Josh Allen's year. This right here was Josh Allen's year to prove to everybody that it was a Patrick Mahomes thing. It wasn't a Josh Allen thing. Now, with what they've had to deal with, now is it a Josh Allen thing?
Bigger surprise. Josh Allen, with the fact that he doesn't have Mahomes, he doesn't have Lamar in the playoffs, and he still can't get it done, or the fact of that 2017 draft class, or the 2018 draft class, Lamar, Darnold, Baker, Allen, and Darnold's going to be the first one to go to a Super Bowl if Seattle wins next week.
Yeah.
On his third team, nonetheless.
Yeah.
It all depends on situation.
It
And I
does.
sound like the character from freaking Monsters Inc. right now.
Wazowski.
The biggest
Always watching.
The biggest conspiracy I thought I read is the Rams win the whole thing, Stafford retires, and then the Bills throw 3 first-round picks to go get Josh Allen to put him with Puka Nacua.
If I can say this, and then we'll close it on this, would that be the best childhood friend story in history? Because you know who his center was in Pee Wee football, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would that be the best childhood friendship story in professional sports history? They both go out with a title. They both go out on top.
I think it would, and McVay then, if that were to happen, McVay doesn't contemplate retirement at 34, and the Rams, could we actually be talking in a few years from now about the Rams being a bigger dynasty than the Chiefs were with that with putting that offense together?
Depends who they get to back up Stafford, because Van Wilder ain't doing it. Sorry, that's what I call Stetson Bennett, John.
Well, all I know, next week's games are going to be very interesting. Obviously, Seattle and LA have a little bit of a history there, being in the same conference. 3 of the teams from that conference made it. The AFC North had struggled just to get 1 in, and even at that point, we shouldn't probably even had our conference champion in. But with that being said, Denver is going to really struggle having Bo Nix out. That's going to really, really hurt. Who would have thought we'd be saying that going into the AFC Championship week, that not having Bo Nix was going to be could be like the Achilles heel to that organization right now. But yeah, watching the New England game today, having a chance to watch a little bit of it, I don't think Denver beats either one of those teams next week. Just based on the defense that I was watching.
There are 4 teams left. There are 3 possible. There are the potential Super Bowl matchups. Do you guys know off the top of your head what's the only one that would not be a Super Bowl rematch?
That would not be a Super Bowl rematch.
Rams Broncos. They didn't play the Rams.
Yeah, that would be okay. Yeah, then okay. Let me back up and rephrase that. Before this game just went final, let's actually pencil in with what happened, going off of yesterday. You realize that when New England goes into Denver and beats them because of the fact that Bo Nix is playing and Jared Stidham's going to have to actually engineer that offense against New England's defense, that when New England gets through, that they were going to end up having a Super Bowl rematch at some point because they lost to the Bears, they beat the Rams twice, and then the infamous Marshawn game against Seattle.
Well, I mean, Brady took him to how many Super Bowls? I mean,
we would have gotten the Super Bowl shuffle game 41 years later.
We figured out. I figured out that Tom Brady has basically gone to the Super Bowl, not the playoffs, mind you, has played in the Super Bowl every other year of his career. That in and of itself is an insane stat. Not making the playoffs every other year, reaching the pinnacle game, the Super Bowl, the game of all games, every other year of his career, essentially. That is a stat that I don't think will ever be accomplished, ever. I mean, you don't have, I'm not talking about winning them or losing them or whatever. I'm just saying he has been to the Super Bowl the equivalent of every other year in his career.
What sucks worse right now as a football fan, fellas, and why is it, why is it the fact that we should have had 10 years worth of the Patriots sucking, and now they're going to be back in the Super Bowl 3 years after Brady's gone?
Robert Kraft knows what he's doing. He pairs the right coach with the right quarterback. I mean, Belichick and Brady, now Vrabel and May. I mean,
there are kids in middle school that haven't seen a Patriots championship parade by now.
I can't with you right now, dude.
So we will be posting next week's episode probably Saturday or Sunday sometime. Michael, I believe next week we're gonna preview the conference championship games. We'll look back on the national championship tonight, and let's have a little bit of fun. Let's have our 2026 New Year's resolutions around the sports world.
Ooh.
The Mets to do something that doesn't make me want to choke out a small Jewish man.
The Guardians spending some money.
Josh Allen not committing 7 turnovers in the postseason.
We need to go before I say something really fucked up.
On that note, for the Big Rican Mark Martinez, I am JC Blue Note. Congratulations again, John. We will probably talk sometime during the week. Mike, I will certainly talk to you tonight. Mike, you're also going to bed. John, good luck on stream. I think you got that tournament coming up in the next couple of days, don't you?
Yeah, the 29th. The 29th, there's a tournament coming up on Thursday, the 29th. There's a little streamer tournament going on, so that'll be fun.
Well, again, good luck to you. I will try and actually pop in there for that where I can. And we're all going to head to bed. I'm going to go celebrate a Rams victory, hopefully not at Alex's expense. But we will run the Wisey translator. We will get out of here, and Mike and I will see you guys later on in the week.
See you guys.
Adios.
Would you shut up and just push the button already?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It's the Wisey translator on the Wise Guys Sports Show.
I'm forever unclean.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. It is the Wisey translator. It is the best segment of the night because it is the last segment of the night. It is that time when James and I give each other names inside or outside of the sports world, and we come up with the first thing that comes into our brains. Now, since this is our pre-recorded show, there is no Chiron for this one. There is no Chronicle, which quite honestly...
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh, he's got a Chronicle.
I hate when people call my cell phone. I don't use it for that.
You're making me laugh when I'm hacking up a lung.
It's like that. It's like that Swirsky super fans where Chris Farley coughs up a pork chop. Oh, that hurts. My chest is all bruised.
I have a piece of Polish sausage caught in my aorta.
Bears, Bears, Ditka, sausage, Bears.
The funniest one is when he's dressed as his wife, and you're my Ditka. That's the funniest one of all of them. So, James, it is incumbent upon me, even in our pre-recorded stages, for me to give you the first name in the Wisey Translator. And tonight, James, your name in tonight's Wisey Translator is former Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin.
The idea of Jim Nantz, Romo, and Tomlin potentially in the same booth for a playoff game or a Super Bowl, we thought that some of those booths could be completely unlistenable. And some of the Tomlinisms that we hear in post-game press conferences, if those are so bad, do we really want to put them on for 3.5 hours or even an hour-long pregame show? No, thank you. To me, as a Clevelander, his greatest claim to fame is tripping a guy on a punt return.
That booth wouldn't be unlistenable; it'd be unhinged.
If I want to do that, I could just pull up a Manning cast.
Yeah, you could. You could.
Which only would make me want Jimmy John's for obvious reasons.
Maybe the best commercial on TV right now.
It's one of them. It's up there.
Yeah.
Michael, your name in the Wisey Translator for tonight, as we're now only going 1 for 1 with the pre-recorded, had himself a fantastic CFP playoff run, and now is in the news for different reasons, and that would be, is he current? Is he former? Is he back on? Is he back off? Trinidad Chambliss.
I've seen some people dodge the draft, but the way these quarterbacks are now dodging the Jets is insanity. You got the kid from Oklahoma who waits till Dylan Raiola commits and is like, yeah, I could go to the Jets. Fuck that. I'm out. And now you got Trinidad Chambliss, who is now suing the NCAA to try and get back into school for a 6th year.
Dante Moore. Raiola announces he's going to Oregon. Moore decides he's going to come back. So where does Raiola now end up going? Because he's not going to play under there for a year when Raiola could potentially be the number 1 quarterback in the 27 draft if Arch Manning has another year like that. It's Chambliss was going to be a 3rd rounder who he was going to be a 4th rounder who moved his way up to a 3rd rounder and is going to come back for another year. Where, if he's even allowed to, I mean, the guy spends more time in college than Chris Farley did in Black Sheep, and he's not a doctor.
You're going to root for the Rams and talk that kind of shit and not bring up your backup. That's a lot of balls.
Well, considering he's basically a placeholder just in case Stafford can't go, and Stafford's going to win an MVP, so I may get another Super Bowl out of it. I'm content for now.
You might, but if Van Wilder's got to play, you ain't going anywhere.
That's a little. There's some substance to that because Van Wilder's girlfriend. I mean, hey, if she's got three brothers that play hockey for the Islanders, I've got no problem with it.
Well played. But you know who Van Wilder's based off, don't you? I am the machine.